spinning out of nothingness, scattering stars like dust. We're just waves of possibility. There really is no us. There is no time, there is no space. It's only just a dream. There really is no birth or death, nothing in between. He asked me, well, how do you explain this life to me? I said it all exists as a dream, my friend, within relativity. It's a picture show on a cosmic screen, perceiving through your eyes. And the only question to ask yourself really is... Hi, everybody. Welcome to the lounge tonight on this lovely Friday evening. I hope you are all having a wonderful night. You have your twinkly lights on, you got your popcorn, you got your cheese plates, you got your waffles. I don't even know why I'm saying waffles, but some people eat breakfast at night, sometimes in the middle of the night, kind of like me. So I don't know if you're a breakfast type of person in the middle of the night. Put it in the comments if you are. Say hello to me. I'd love to say hi to you guys. Hi, Mary. Hi, Anna. Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to all our regulars who are with us on these lovely Friday evenings. If you were listening to our beginning music, that is from our lovely guest that we have on tonight, musician and life coach, Kevin Roth. And he is going to tell us how to live a stress-free life, maybe around the holidays, maybe around graduations, parties, birthdays, when everything seems to get stressful. He's going to talk about his own journey of transformation and how we can kind of implement these simple tricks to... Obviously, we all need to be less stressed, right? Just put it in the comments. Are you stressing out? And you cannot wait to hear this. Also, on the lounge, you guys know we have our experts and then we have our musicians. But tonight, we have a 2-for-1. That's right. Kevin Roth is our expert, and he's also a musician, and he's going to be playing some live music for us, which, as you can hear, it's very, very calming. And I don't know exactly what type of meditation it is, because this is something new, and I love hearing about something new when it comes to meditation, because even though I'm a medium and an intuitive, I've been doing this 25 years, I'm not the biggest meditator. And people be like, you don't meditate? And I'm like, well, that's something, but I'm kind of just meditation in action type of person. So I need to learn a lot from Kevin Roth. And so whenever somebody has something with meditation that's different that I haven't heard about, I'm very interested in hearing about the techniques and what they have in mind and their products and what exactly they do for those of us that don't want to be kind of a yogi and sit on a mountain and just sit there for hours and hours, because we can't do that. So I can't wait to hear what Kevin has to say. So how is everybody doing tonight? What are you up to? Are you stressing out? I know that a lot of you on these Friday nights, especially with the energy now going on, there just seems to be a lot coming up for people, right? A lot coming up, whether that's anxiety over the big seasons that we have coming up, or if it's just, we're just can't really seem to calm, can't really seem to be at peace and content. So if you're existing outside of your body and having a little bit of anxiety tonight, this is what the lounge does. The lounge calms you down, but now we're going to take it a step further. We're going to bring you into the body. We're going to bring you into your center. We're going to have you come and feel like a little bit more at home, so you can be more present, more connected to your loved ones, to those around you, and to the world as we're in. Because as a medium and intuitive, I'm like more comfortable being out there, right? And so some of you that are highly sensitive, highly intuitive, you're probably more comfortable being out there too, and not so much coming home to your body. Now, just a couple announcements, everything. So you guys love the lounge. We're so glad to be back after we've taken our summer break and a little bit into the fall. So it wasn't exactly just 3 months. We had to recalibrate with everything going on. But if you're not receiving my monthly energy forecasts, I want you to go into the description of this video. Make sure that you're getting on my email list before the 14th of each month, because I go into the forecast for every day of the month. Okay. So you listen to
the forecast when you're getting ready to go and put on your jacket for the day, whether that's the summer, the winter, the spring, or the fall. You go and see the weather forecast. Well, if you're going to be making big decisions in your life or taking actions in your relationships, doing something big with business, your career, your health, timing is essential. Energy is essential. So a lot of people are like, Marissa, I've taken your manifesting course, but during a Mercury retrograde period, that's when I launched my new project. I'm like, why did you listen to me? Why did you watch my energy forecast? So the thing is that you got to be a newsletter subscriber. It is free, but it's not public. So with my weekly energy forecast, you are seeing that. You can search it. You can watch it on YouTube, on Facebook. If you're on YouTube now, make sure you subscribe, because once you subscribe, you're going to get an email when we are live, so you guys can interact with us. And make sure you like us on Facebook, because we do a lot of content on there. And on Instagram, it's at Marisa Liza Pell, and it's completely different content on there. So make sure you go to the description of this video and make sure you sign up before the 15th of the month, because that's when it goes out for every month. We go into the 15th of that month to the 15th of the next month. So looking to do your manifesting, your transformational journey, timing is essential. Make sure you get on our list. And also our intuitive development series. I cannot wait to launch this course. It is going to be one of my best courses. You could do it you could take it at a beginner level, or you could take it on a much more refined level. So make sure you go into the description of this video and make sure that you are getting on our wait list for the course. Awesome. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about Kevin before we bring him on here. So Kevin Roth, he is a life coach and a musician. He is actually an internationally known musician. This isn't some local guy. He's well known in his field. He's a recording artist. He's a life coach. He developed, now I'm probably saying this wrong, and he'll probably correct me. That's okay. Dulcimeditation. I bet I said it incorrectly. I haven't ever heard of this before. I'm so excited. But he developed this and other groundbreaking techniques for clarity, getting unstuck, which a lot of you who've taken my manifesting course, all about getting unstuck with patterns and avoiding stress. His clients range from performers to doctors to Chaplin. So I need his services because I'm overwhelmed constantly on a daily basis. So yeah, so I would love to, I'm just so excited to talk to him. I actually talked to him backstage, and he's a very calming presence. So he's going to talk to us about how to relieve the stress during the holiday season and year round. So we have holidays year round, but of course we have a major holiday season. He's going to tell us how to kind of, dumb it down a little bit and get some peace within, because for those of us that are high producing, high stress, we tend to get through the holidays and be like, oh my God, is it over yet? Oh my God, it's already over. Till next year, I didn't even enjoy it. So he wants to talk about how to create a life you love from authenticity, the role spirituality plays in living a balanced life. Simple and joy is the new rich, and investing in yourself. Now, he has some amazing promotions. And as you know, guests of our show and the people who watch our show get the perks from our guests that not everybody gets. So I'm not going to tell you what those are, because you're going to have to watch the interview and stick with us to get those perks. All right. So without further ado, let us welcome to the lounge, Kevin Roth. Hi, Kevin.
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
I'm mellow after listening to that introduction.
Oh, wow. Did I calm you?
Yes. Yeah, you did.
And see, I'm here. I'm the one who's such in this, heightened energy. And I'm thinking, oh my God, he's probably thinking I'm a nut over here with all this crazy energy. So yeah. I'm glad that I calmed you. Now, I love design. I love the way things look. I'm a very visual person, and I'm looking at your background, and I love music and what's on your wall. Can you kind of give me a little tour of what's behind you and what kind of instruments these are?
Well, these are the mountain dulcimer, and the little yellow tint on my face is the sun going down, because we're on the West Coast, but it's also a good sign of mellowness and sunshine.
Yes.
These instruments are from my collection. I have about 17 dulcimers, and that's what I'm known for. and each one was handcrafted for me. And then I'll be playing one today as well that I helped create.
So I haven't ever seen this type of instrument before. Like, where would you normally see this type of instrument?
Well, it's mostly a folk instrument. Some popular musicians play one, Cyndi Lauper, Joni Mitchell, but there's a whole plethora of dulcimer people in the world. I have been known, I guess, as an innovator of the instrument since the 70s. So I have about 50 recordings out on the dulcimer. The latest one is dulcimeditation, and yes, you did say it correctly.
Okay, well, that's good. Now, is this something like like a paraliminal or like the binaural beats or anything like that, or is this just basically it's a meditation with this type of instrument?
It's a very simple meditation. If you don't play a musical instrument, you can get a dulcimer. You can, on my website, I tell you where you can get one, or if you have one, and it's extremely simple. I keep everything simple because it really is almost like lullabying yourself, and you don't need to be a musician to do it.
Really? So somebody who's like middle-aged or didn't play an instrument since they were young feels like they won't ever be able to learn an instrument. This is something they can pick up pretty easily and not have to spend 5 or 10 years practicing to be able to do it proficiently.
Yep. In fact, when people buy a dulcimer from me, because I have something called a wink dulcimer, which has a lot of planets as sound holes, which you would like, it comes with 3 or 4 free dulcimer lessons. So you're never just going to get one and just not know what to do with it. Yeah.
So, I mean, you're already like, I know when people are trying to sell me, right? I know it, and already, and I can't be like sold to, right? I know I could see, and already everything you're saying, I'm like, I want to buy, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to get the instrument, I want the lessons. Like, you just make me want to do all these things. It's like we're all looking for an experience in life that gets us to be more present. And a lot of people don't know themselves. And a lot of people, I would think, especially women who have raised children, have families, spent, pretty much gave of themselves for 30 years and are now kind of looking to find themselves. And a majority of our audience are in this kind of camp, kind of like, who am I? I'm like, who am I now that my kids have grown and I'm retired, or, I'm kind of changing careers and I don't even know who I am. And some people will come to me and say, there's some things that I've always wanted to do as a kid that because I had a family or because I had a career, I couldn't ever pursue. And a lot of people, it's art and music. And while some people could get into painting, a lot of people don't think that at that age they can play an instrument.
Well, music's very healing. And the best things in life are simple. So, and especially, a lot of the clients that I coach are women, and they're at a point in their life, like you were talking about, where they're rediscovering me time. Yeah. They've had maybe they've had a career, they've had a family, and now they're just saying, okay, well, now what? And that's when they usually come to me, at least, and we talk about who they are, what matters, and why. And part of that experience is meditation. And, I was kind of chuckling because I don't like to meditate either.
I wouldn't think you would be saying that, actually.
No.
I would think you'd be like, oh, I'm Mr. Meditator, and she's a medium. She doesn't meditate, so there's something wrong with her.
No, I can't. My mind won't be still enough, which is why I play the dulcimer when I do it. And you want me to tell you about what the meditation is and how it works?
Yeah, please.
There's a whole backstory to it, but let me just jump ahead and say that dulcimeditation is when you're playing something on the dulcimer, or it could be a guitar, or really any stringed instrument, very simply, very smoothly, nothing that you have to read music for. You're just kind of noodling around, and you put into your consciousness a question. So let's say there's a lot going on and you feel stressed out and you don't know what to do. So the question you would put out to the universe is, what do I need to know about today? And then you listen. while you're playing the dulcimer? And the answer comes.
Now, see, you just keep taking it up a level, Kevin. You just keep taking it up a level, because people here, we're interested in intuition, transformation, finding ourselves, coming home to ourselves. And like usually I do a pre interview before we do an interview. So but I'm like shocked. I mean, this is live. This is not, I am like, whoa, you're getting my reaction live, right? So this is an intuitive tool. This is a creative tool. This is a life-altering, transformative tool, so that you don't have to go to the external and be like, I can't trust myself or my intuition, so I have to go ask everybody else around me, what should I do? This is a tool to come home to yourself and tune into your inner wisdom.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and the funny thing about the dulcimer or any stringed instrument, you need to retune them. Once you tune them, you need to retune because of the weather or usage or whatever. People retune their instruments all the time. But we have to retune ourselves throughout the day. And this can take less than 5 minutes. So when I sit down during the day, I may pick up the dulcimer a couple times. And I mean, it's just so automatic for me. I get clarity.
Yeah. I have to put this up for people. The dulcimeditation. Yes. So exciting. So did I do that right? Because I just did that.
What?
Is that correct? Creator of dulcimeditation. Can you read that?
Yeah. Well, it's one word, dulcimeditation.
Okay.
Yeah, close enough.
Close up. Let me just make it right, because I want it to look right.
And you're going to make it right live, right?
I'm making it right live. Okay. There we go.
All right. Instantaneous.
Yes. So this is how you spell it. I remember looking at Kevin's bio and be like, what is this? How do I say it? But oh my God, it's so much more than what I read in your form that you sent about yourself. I didn't realize it was an intuitive tool. So, oh my God, it's like right up our alley. So I have to ask you this question, because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering it. How much would someone have to pay to buy that type of instrument for themselves?
Well, the one that I sell, this is called the Wink. You see all the beautiful planets and stuff, and you plug it in and stuff. This is about, with shipping or something like that, depending upon which model you'll get, about $1,000.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not that expensive. Any good musical instrument's going to be up around $800-900, or so it's not terribly expensive, especially if you average it out where you're going to be playing it off and on the rest of your life. It's like nothing. But it is a handmade folk instrument. It's hand carved and it's hand put together. It's not manufactured. It's done. These are made for me in Mountain View, Arkansas. So it's the real deal. And they come with a case and, of course, the instructions on how to do it.
Wow. So if someone watching the show says, wow, I really would like this for myself, or I'd like to give it as a gift to a family member, they would contact you and you would say, would you actually help them to say, kind of create the design they want, or do they just come to So
what they would do is they would go to my website, kevinroth.org.
Okay, I'll put that up here.
And they fill out a form for we're going to be doing a free coaching session for people. And in the notes of that, they can get back to me about a dulcimer, or they could just email me at kevinroth.org@gmail.com and write to me about it. Yeah. And I'll play you a little dulcimeditation a little later. When we're up. Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So you're saying it's not that hard, right? To learn.
No.
People are skeptic of mediums and intuitives. I'm skeptical when you're saying it's not that hard to learn, because it's a string instrument. Well,
I'll show you. It's really simple. So you only have 4 strings, and they're basically tuned like xylophones. You play it on your lap, so I'm kind of holding it up. So there aren't a lot of wrong notes that you can hit. So you can go. have it in an unusual tuning, but that's what it normally sounds like. That's all there is. So really all you have to play is on one string. I play on all of them because I'm an advanced player, but yeah, it's very pretty. You'll enjoy it later.
Wow. Yeah. I am just mesmerized. And so when you have this intuitive question, what types of do you use this for your own intuitive divination for yourself?
Well, how this came about is, I had a pretty successful music career, a lot of record albums, and I did TV. I did the theme to Shining Time Station on PBS, Thomas the Tank Engine. And I was okay. I was happy. I wasn't like thrilled because like everybody else, I have this internal longing for things. So what happened is in 2013, I got hit with melanoma and was given a death sentence. And I rewired my thinking and kind of went down the rabbit hole to get myself out of that state. Never did any chemo, any medication. And they said that it would probably come back within a year. It never did. And that I'd be dead within 2 or 3. Well, so it never came back and I never died. And here I am. So someone said to me, well, instead of making a new record or booking a tour, why don't you teach people what you did to get through the cancer, get through the stress? Because, there's nothing like a death sentence to wake you up.
Well, yeah.
And, I had to think about, well, what did I do? I mean, I know what spiritual material I went to, and I know I changed my eating and I changed my attitude. I got rid of negative people and all that stuff. But I thought, well, what really was the main thing I did to calm myself? And then I thought, well, you just play the dulcimer really simply. And that's when someone said, oh, it's like a dulcimeditation. And I said, yeah. And he said, well, you should teach that. So I started to teach it, and then it just naturally flowed into me being a life coach.
So would you think that maybe when you were in that state where your body was in distress and things were happening to your physical body, you were existing more at a lower energy frequency, and the dulcimeditation kind of brought you into a different parallel state, but within your life, but a different path?
Well, one of the leading causes of cancer is stress and inflammation. I was 30 pounds heavier than you see me now, and I was very stressed out. And I was very negative. I kind of liked playing the victim. And, this was just part of my life's journey. And then I changed all that through some spiritual nosediving and music. And I was living in Kansas City, Missouri at the time. And one of the things I figured out was I asked myself 3 questions, which I tell your audience to ask themselves. What really matters to you? Why does it matter? And what's your game plan to change it? So if you know what you don't like, that's your first big clue. Then what do you like? And you create a life, you dream it up, and then you walk into it. So my thing was, I'm going to go move to San Diego, California, and be sort of a bohemian. I had no clue about being a life coach. And I created it. I barely had any money left after several different experiences. But I made it work, and here I am. I went from sort of surviving to thriving. And then I found out that I loved teaching people about how to relieve their negativity. So you were talking about stress and the holidays coming up. There's a song on my album, The Deviant Dulcimerist, called The Holidays Tune. It's about this kind of idea of someone feeds organic turkeys THC, and everyone eats it and gets stoned around the table. Everyone gets along. But, the biggest thing around the holidays, especially around the holidays, but this works all the time, is you should learn not to, what I say, step in it.
Step in the poop.
Yeah, step in your own poop. So I had a friend recently who I had invited for dinner, and he had asked me if he could bring his aunt. But he had previously told me that his aunt was a very negative, kind of a nasty woman. So I told him no, he couldn't. And he said, oh, she'll be fine, because she doesn't know you. I said, no, you're not bringing her here. Because, when people tell you what they are and who they are, believe them. So why did I be around that negativity? So we rescheduled dinner. And there's certain people who call me on the phone, and when I see their name come up, I don't answer it, because I know that it's a kind of a sort of a negative exchange. It could be whatever it is, or they'll leave a message. So I'm very protective over what makes me happy and what I can do to refocus and become centered. So
Right.
on the website, if they go to the website, they get a free breathing exercise, which I was taught by a psychologist, which is amazing, and it's so simple. And then they can
That's
hear
awesome.
the dulcimeditation. Yeah.
Well, let me put that up because I was so excited. I didn't want people, getting all the free stuff in the beginning of the video and then hightailing it out of here. They're going to listen to the story. They're going to listen to what you have to say. So if you would like a free, that's right, it says free, but it's not just free because you got to do some work for it. You got to actually do the video. 5-minute stress buster video. Go to kevinroth.org. And there's another thing he's offering, but we're not going to tell you guys about that until you listen to him play his music, right? So we're not going to give them everything, right? So free 5-minute stress buster video. And I'm doing all of this. I'm going to get it myself, kevinroth.org. And I know that a lot of people are like, I need to listen to what that sounds like. So would you like to play something for us, Kevin?
I will. Let me see if I can turn this computer around so that maybe you could see what I'm doing. We don't have a very sophisticated setup here, but there you go.
I'm going to put you in the spotlight here.
So this is a little bit of the dulcimeditation. So that's a little sample of what it sounds like.
That's awesome. That's so I could just listen to that for a long time. That's so calming to my spirit.
It is calming, which is why I'm always mellow. My dog's mellow.
Yeah. Can I ask you another question about yourself?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to heal? So when you got, when all of that happened in your life and you realized you had to make these changes and transform, how long did it actually take for you to say, oh, what I'm doing is working and I'm healed?
That's a good question. Well, they removed a little lymph node here and a little spot on my nose. And then they said you'd have to wait a year to see if it comes back, because it could come back within a year. There's a 70% chance, and there's no cure for melanoma. So I had stage 3. So it was literally kind of teeth grinding for a year. What I discovered during that year is something that I've come to really believe, is that there really is no such thing as death.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I got into a guy's teaching named Ramana Maharshi, who's a wonderful teacher about non-duality, and came to understand who I was more, kind of sort of what God is more, and that what really matters is that longing that we all have. We're all looking, I have another friend who's a medium, and she says everyone's looking for out,
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's looking. It's because we have this internal sense that we haven't come from the planet Earth.
Yeah, right.
and we come and then we leave. And this is the shell, right? So you and I and many of your listeners have had the experience of people who've passed on kind of contact talking to us.
Yep.
So when you figure that stuff out, you realize that the stuff that you worry about, you don't really need to worry as much about, and your attitude changes. So my attitude was, instead of living in the headspace of I'm sick with cancer and being fearful that it was going to come back, I said, it's not coming back. I've got things to do. And I changed my eating to eliminate sugars and processed food. And I found some people who healed naturally on the internet and worked with them a little bit, did a lot of sort of self-reflection and a lot of music. And then after, well, right before a year came up, I packed my car full of my dulcimers and my dog, and I headed to Southern California, and I started a whole new life.
And what did your new life involve that your old life didn't?
Well, I did not hang around any negative people. I took a break from my music career, which was needed. I decided that I was going to breathe. I was going to stop arguing with myself and things were never good enough. And I just stopped the stinking thinking.
Yes.
And I said, you know, I'm going to create a life where I can get in my car and in 10 minutes be at the beach and sit down there with a margarita or a macchiato with my dog. I can go hiking in the mountains 40 minutes away. And I'm just going to learn to listen inside and do what I need to do to survive, but to find the path that is permanently going to work. I didn't need to read any more books. I'd had enough books. I had enough courses. I needed to listen to this book. And that's what I did.
Yeah, I mean, that's just so inspiring. And did you go back to these doctors and did you have to go get a clean bill of health again? Like, how do these doctors react when you were like,
Well, that's an interesting story because I intuitively saw a photograph of a doctor in Kansas that I wanted, but he wasn't taking new patients. I ended up with an associate of his, which I didn't know was an associate, and then switched to him. I demanded we switch to him. They said I couldn't do it. And I said, I'm not leaving until I see him. And he was the only oncologist that said, don't do anything. Everyone else wanted to take out lymph nodes and do all kinds of crap to me. And my gut told me no. And this guy said, let's just wait a year. If it comes back, there's no cure for it. We'll treat it symptomatically. So a year came, never returned. And I said, I'm going to California. And he said, well, be sure you check in with dermatologists and be sure you get a lot of rest and keep doing what you're doing because it's working. And you'll know if you get sick. So when I got to California, you know, it's funny because I got a dermatologist and, he just wanted to put me through all kinds of tests and all this kind of stuff. And I said, no, you're not doing it. You know, I don't have melanoma. There's nothing that shows that I have any cancer in my body. And I'm not going down that road. So if you want to, and I showed him the letter that I'd gotten from my oncologist explaining the same thing. And I basically told him, if you want to go down that road, go alone. I'm not joining you. I'll go find someone because I'm not going to get tested because there's no cure for it. And you know if you have melanoma because it will show up physically. So it's been 6 years and never came back.
Wow. And did you ever go back to those original doctors or no?
Because they were in Kansas.
I see.
So I have a dermatologist here and I've got all my doctors here, and every year I go through the physicals and all that stuff. And I keep getting healthier. I'm going to be 64 on December 1st.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I thought you were like 20 years younger. That's amazing.
As long as people keep telling me I look like Stanley Tucci, who I go, But anyway, so, and I get happier. I've lost 30 pounds. I teach people about emotional eating. And I think what makes any successful coach successful, at least in my situation, is I teach from authenticity. I teach from experience.
Yeah. Right.
So I show people when you're stuck, when you don't know what to do, when you're dealing with fear, which is false evidence appearing real, when you have a dream, but you don't know how to get there, I'll show you all that. It's not
Awesome.
hard. Yeah,
and so people can, do you want to tell them the big gift that you're giving people today?
Well, yeah, if you sign up for, if you watch the video, I'm giving a free 30-minute Zoom thing where you can tell me what you're looking to do, and I'll give you some guidance. And if we can work together, we will. And if not, I'll advise you what to look for, where to go, so you're not left hanging.
Wow. I mean, this is so generous of you to give to our viewers. And if you're sitting out there and you're stuck and you're saying, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go, and you're telling yourself all these reasons why you can't, there's no reason, no limitation right now why you can't call Kevin. I mean, it's, don't tell me you don't have the time, money, or energy, because it's right here. 30 minutes of your time. You have you're obviously watching. If you're not going to take this action, then you have no one to blame, right? So you can give Kevin a call, a free 30-minute session, and you could discuss your goals. And if you want to become a musician, you can do that too.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah. I'm always surprised by the people that show up that end up as clients. They kind of become, I call them my sheep in a way, because I don't do this. And I'm sure you probably work the same way, is that even though our session may be, let's say, Monday from 10 to 11, I don't end up taking notes, and then I don't think about you till Monday. You're like in my head all week long, because my clients go through different things, right? Yeah. Some rough times, some good times. So, but the clients who end up with me have stayed for a really long time, because we keep going through new things and they see results. But they're kind of like extensions. And one day I realized, I thought that I was the teacher here, because I'm essentially a teacher. But I realized I was also the student, because they teach me things through their journeys as well. So it's an interesting exchange.
So I want to ask you about your previous life. Yeah. So
this planet?
I'm sorry?
On this planet, or
yes, this planet. We could talk about the past lives, I guess, another show. But what type of musician were you, and what type of life did you lead, and how stressful was your life? And I mean, what was your week like? Like, what was your daily grind like?
Well, that's a long story, but the highlights of that answer would be that I thought if I became rich and famous, I would be happy.
Right.
And I saw the dulcimer. So I saw the dulcimer at 13, and I got my first record deal at 16. And fame and fortune does not make you happy.
So you had it all, and you realize, and then there comes a big crash, right? When you realize that's not it, you're like, oh shit. Oh yeah, say that word. Yeah.
You realize it. I wished I'd realized it before, but I had to go through what I had to go through. I made a lot of money, and I lost a lot of money in the stock markets and real estate and stuff. And then then the music business changed. People stopped buying albums; they download for free, and the only way a musician could really make money was to tour constantly and sell merchandise. And the people who were buying concerts or booking concerts were paying less money. This was around 2000. So the whole industry changed. And people don't realize that when they I have a friend that just bought a new album of mine. I said, oh, where did you buy the album? Off Amazon? He said, oh, no. I have it on, I don't know, Instagram, or not Instagram, Spotify or something like that. What they don't realize is that artists get a fraction of a fraction of a fraction. So we don't make any money. So I had to think of, well, if I'm going to make money for a living, what am I going to do? So I went to Florida, and I did one more tour, and then I kind of bounced around with some business ideas. I kind of fell in love and thought that love would make me happy. And after the honeymoon period, well, that did. And then I was kind of lost, I mean, I had at that point, I think about 48 albums, and I was tired of touring, and I was just always searching. And I didn't know what I was searching even for. I mean, I wanted some sort of peace, and I could get it, and then I'd lose it. Then I'd get it, and I'd lose it, until I realized that what I really wanted was internal and cost nothing, except personal investment of my own efforts.
Mhm.
And it took cancer to wake me up. So what happened is one day I was in my apartment in Florida, and I asked myself, what do you really, really want? And I said, I want to be spiritually enlightened. And that was the curse, the blessing and the curse, because be careful what you ask for. And 7 months later, I got out of the blue this melanoma. And then my life went into a tailspin for a year. And then when I moved to San Diego and I got out of it, you know, I teach my clients, when you replace what doesn't work with what does work, you don't go back to what doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So when you realize through mindful awareness, which is another thing that I teach, because you have to really, you know, you have to be mindful and aware of how you're feeling. If you see someone calling you that causes you stress, don't answer the phone. You know, like yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. And I started to live a pretty pleasant life. And then someone suggested I do the coaching. And then my career just took off.
Yeah. There's a lot of people in our audience who have trauma in their background, whether that's dysfunction or addictions or alcoholic families that they grew up in, or any sort of trauma, whether that was, you know, overt or covert or whatever it is, subtle or very traumatic. And what was my train of thought here? So it's hard for a lot of people when they're stuck, especially when they're going through my courses for manifesting or intuitive development. It's hard for them to cut off those draining people. It's very hard for them because there's a lot of guilt that they experience. And to alleviate the guilt, they'll fawn and, you know, just answer the person's call to people please or whatever. Yeah. So I find that this is the hardest stuck point for a lot of people in their manifesting and transformational journey, is to just not pick up that phone. It seems simple, but this is where a lot of our viewers do have a problem. So, I mean, how do people, get past that guilt and put up those boundaries?
You have to be ready to change. You have to say enough. I've had enough of this boss. So you may not be able to leave your job immediately, but you can feel empowered by sending out resumes. You can be empowered. I told one of my client students, I said, how many minutes a week does your boss actually talk to you? And she figured it was 15 or 20 out of a whole week. And I said, but you're carrying her around in your head the rest of the week. Why? Why do you do that? And so she learned to do what she needed to do for her boss. And then she realized she wasn't going to talk to her boss again until, 4 or 5 days later. And she was cool with it. But you have to be ready to change. You know, the expression, when the student is ready, the teacher shows up. And you have to understand that change can be difficult, but it's harder to stay where you are. It's harder to be in relationships that don't work. It's harder to be in financial positions when that are, kind of strangling you. And you can simplify and you can learn to work these things out. I was $80,000 in debt. I was dealing with crazy people in the music business, which is most of them on the business.
Right. The business side of things.
There's a power in decisions. You have to say, I'm ready to take that course, or I'm ready to reach out to Kevin, or I'm ready to learn to do dulcimeditation. And when you're ready, the universe is there for you. That's really what it comes down to. Are you ready to lose that weight? Like, we've got the holidays coming up, emotional eating. So there's certain things you can do to not emotionally eat. The breathing exercise that I teach for free is one of them. Knowing not to show up really early and not to stay really late, and to also take a time out and go outside, take a walk, or to do what I call bird's eye view and look at all the crazy people at the table if they're crazy, and look at yourself and say, well, that's an interesting movie. You don't have to buy into the mind. It's the mind that's the problem.
Yeah. And so people that, when you did put these boundaries down and you said you were surrounded by a lot of negative people, and you didn't answer your phone and you told people they can't come to your house if they're negative. Did you have backlash from some friends and family that got mad at you when you cut them off? Did you actually like cut people off and just not talk to them again? Or did you say, hey, I don't want to be around you because you're negative? Or like, how did you do that?
Well, I have a sister who's sort of, I mean, I love her, but she's kind of like a bull in a china shop. And she was talking to me and she was being very pushy and stuff. And I told her, I said, you know what? I said, if you're going to talk to me like that, I'm going to hang up. And her response was, you're not going to hang up because you're going to listen. And I clicked, I hung up. And she never did it again. She never did it again. So you have to value yourself. You don't have to be mean to other people, but if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. You need to know that this is not the right time to answer Bob or Cheryl's call because I'm in the middle of something. They'll leave a message. I'll get back to them. The world won't end. You don't need to watch constant social media. The news will be crazy and be there when you get done. You have to value yourself. You need to say, what do I need? What do I? You're not being selfish. You say, what do I need at this minute? I need to sit down with a cup of coffee or something and just be for 5 minutes. Don't text, don't scroll, just be. And when you get a taste of how wonderful that is, and you learn to exhale,
Yeah.
You really get a taste for it. You say, oh, that feels better. I think I'm going to do a little more of that. I'm going to stop hanging around so many of those negative people, and I'm going to start surrounding myself with more people that make me feel a little better. I mean, the world is the world, so we're all going to have ups and downs. Nothing's perfect. But when you learn mindful awareness of things, I'm sure you teach the same things that I do in a way. When you learn mindful awareness and you learn to reassociate what works for you, and you learn to value yourself and to say, I am really a very unique individual. There's only one of me in the whole universe. There's only one of me. Okay, I'm not a mistake. I deserve to be happy. But all of these crazy things makes us nuts. I have a client who said, I can't afford Christmas gifts this year. I said, so don't send anybody one. Oh, but I've got to. I said, why would you put yourself in another $1,000 of debt? Why don't you write a card and tell them how much you appreciate them and send them like something really, fun? And she said, oh, that's a great idea. Who writes letters anymore? Everything is a text, I would love to get a letter. You can write me a letter. I'll write you a letter from someone just saying how much you appreciate them and you were thinking of during the holidays. And it's so meaningful, so you got to get off the guilt train. Yeah.
That's a tough one for a lot of people. But, I think that I put up here, if you're on the fence, definitely give Kevin a call for your 30-minute session to discuss your goals and your free 5-minute stress buster video. And you can also connect with Kevin by going to his website. There's a lot of information on there about him and what he does. And I think our audience would love to hear a little more music from you. Are you up for doing another song?
Yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a song from my favorite movie, which is the most mystical movie of our lives. Can you guess what it is real quick?
No, I don't know.
You'll laugh when I play it for you. So let me move the dulcimer down.
Okay.
Or the computer down, not the dulcimer, so that you can see. There we go. All right. So here you go. here's a really simple meditation. There you go.
Beautiful. A little somewhere over the rainbow.
There's no place like home.
Yes, there isn't. And home is inside of us. And most people think that we have to find it outside.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think that's where the transformation comes is I know, Jim Carrey has like a quote about this that he's like, I wish everybody had a chance to become rich and famous because then they'll realize it's not where it's at,
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You have to like yourself. We have to give ourselves a break.
Yeah.
I lost like 30 pounds and sometimes I put, 5 or 6 pounds on rather. And I don't beat myself up. I know what to do to lose it. I mean, I teach people how to lose weight, because it's not just the food, it's the emotional buttons that gets pushed. But when people say, oh, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do? Well, there's a list of foods I eat. I do a little fasting, but basically I gave myself a break. I just said, all right, so you need to eat a little more today for whatever reasons, whatever's going on, you'll figure it out because you always have and you always will. And, so you had the cookie, that's it. And the next time I don't. And it's about giving yourself a break. I have a student that I'm teaching how to stop being so judgmental creatively. Everything she does, she thinks she is terrible at. So I taught her to do painting, watercolor painting, where it just drips. She has nothing to do with how it turns out. And all the colors run together on their own. And she thought, oh my God, this is gorgeous. And I said, that's what it's about. That's what it's about, is don't be hard on yourself. There's no perfection. There's only progress.
Right. Progress is the answer. A lot of people think we have to be perfect right away or they give up, and it's all about progress. So, oh man, I could talk to you, Kevin, for a long, long time, and our listeners. It's one of these interviews where I thought it was going one way and it went another way, and I love that. I love when I'm kind of like, has this surprise. You were like a little gift. It's like when you get that big gift, and then you're like, okay, well, do you want the big gift or do you want the little gift? And then you get the little one, and it opens up into this like big surprise, and that's kind of what kind of happened. I just enjoyed all the little magical things that kind of came from you today. So I really appreciate you being here. And just to let you guys know where you can connect with Kevin, kevinroth.org.
I forgot to mention to you that I also have a course, because I don't think about business a lot when I do these.
Yeah.
But if you go to kevinroth.teachable.com, you can buy an online course. And the reason I bring that up is because that teaches you the steps. There are 8 modules, the steps to how to do what you and I are talking about.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's 199 or something like that. I don't remember.
Okay. So is it on your website? Can people get there from your website?
It should be. Yeah, it should be. If not, just go to kevinroth.teachable.com or write to me if you can't find it on the website, and I'll send you the link to it. And it has dulcimeditation on it.
Awesome. Yeah. So even if you Google like Teachable and Kevin Roth, you should be able to find it. Yeah. And like you get the free 5-minute stress buster video, go for that, and the free 30-minute session to discuss your goals. And Kevin Roth is the creator of I keep thinking of a dolce, like a dessert, like dolce, like just
like a dessert.
Meditation. Yeah, like a dessert.
Less calories.
Less calories. So wonderful. Well, we have to wrap up our broadcast, but I love everything you had to say. And, you know, for our audience that's listening, I usually kind of interact with you guys and I usually bring you on. And I was just so immersed in what Kevin had to say that I was just like zoned in. So please, we are reading your comments. We will respond to your comments. Either Kevin and I will be on Facebook or YouTube after this, and we will respond to your comments and any questions that you have. Feel free to put them in the chat or the comments. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you're getting these live, so you can interact with us, and make sure that you're getting on my email list, which is in the description of this video on Facebook and YouTube, to get my monthly energy forecasts so that you can plan ahead. And what an inspiration, Kevin. Thank you so much for being here. And Kevin has a class, like he said, on teachable.com, Kevin Roth. And if you want to take the intuitive development class, get on my wait list on my website, connectionbeyond.com, or in the description of this video. And we will have all the links. We'll have Kevin's links. We'll have everybody's links in the description of this video. And we wish you guys a wonderful season of whatever you're celebrating right now. And that you were inspired and that you're going to take action. You're going to at least take one step forward. Even if it's a small step, it will be your biggest step forward. So thank you, Kevin, for being here. And I'll play your little music here, the Adrift by Kevin Roth.
Thanks for having me. It was great talking with you.
It was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And listen to it. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, that's not you. I'm sorry.
No, but it's beautiful.
Getting back to Kevin Roth. There you are. I'm sorry about that. We were playing this earlier, and I think it just popped over randomly to somewhere else. So. Yeah. But this is beautiful. So this will take us out of the broadcast and back into life, and hopefully we've inspired you to live differently and with presence and with love, and especially loving yourself and coming home to yourself. So we'll see you guys soon. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Bye-bye.